Good morning. I hope you're doing well today. And my name is Dilani. Today I would like to talk a little bit about the power of love and the pain of suffering. These two contrary and yet completely joined elements, love and suffering, cannot be set apart one from another. As Christ said, the greatest of these is love. And as Buddha said, let us eliminate suffering. And how to eliminate suffering is to walk away from or let go of attachments. And yet it is hard, isn't it, for us as humans to love something without attachment. With love comes all these dynamic feelings of expectations and hopes and joys. And most of all, when love is reciprocated, given back to us, then it becomes an even more blissful, wonderful experience. I have to agree. And so some of my work here, these videos that I turn out for you, are really inspired by you, my dear clients and my friends. And some of us are really going through this turmoil of love and suffering. The desire to have love, and then also the suffering that comes with it sometimes. And so I'm inspired spiritually to share these thoughts with you. Sometimes if we are in a very deep relationship, or sometimes when we meet somebody who is so special to us and we feel a connection with this person, we can definitely form hopes and dreams and feel that we can make love and be so powerful. And I get numerous calls on people who go through this experience of having these awesome feelings. And I would say to you all that have these feelings, enjoy it. It is a beautiful feeling. But it doesn't necessarily always mean that this feeling will remain a constant. The feeling of love holds all these other dynamics, of anger, of pain, of anxiousness, of worry. But it also holds such wonderful things such as joy and bliss and a state of peace. The way I have found to really embrace love is even more than a feeling. It's simpler than a feeling. To me, what has worked is acceptance. And sometimes when we accept, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are getting what we want or what we think we want at the time. Say, for example, maybe you have desires for someone, and maybe you call a psychic and they say, well, absolutely, this person is going to come in and you're going to be married and have children, and maybe that does not work out. And sometimes there are readings that are off, like so. Or you talk to a friend and they say, oh yes, that person said he or she is really into you. And so you build up these expectations, whether you have viewed it and interpreted it this way or you have been told. And I find that that is a very dangerous thing to do, that some spiritual counselors have professed it, because not all relationships are always fulfilled. And even when we get into a love relationship, there are things that we have to go through in cycles. Love is not all about flowers. I wouldn't want flowers every day. Definitely not. But getting back to the topic which we were talking about. And so the expectations grow. And one day you find out that this person is not responding. The same way something has come, maybe the person has changed, or maybe even from the beginning, he or she was not really into you. And that is painful. Yes, I have to agree. But is that a wrong thing? Are they wrong? Did they lead you on? Or was it just something that came up within you and therefore has become? Ask yourself those questions. And then you can think, okay, this is the power that I have learned, the power of acceptance, where you say, well, you know, things happen, life happens. It doesn't make me a lesser of a person, but I accept at this point that maybe this person is not having these feelings for me. You know, maybe this person is just being a friend and I'm having more feelings than them. And so, of course, this could be a soulmate connection, and that is why you're having this, or you know, it just could be that you're in a vulnerable space and that's why you're having these feelings. It could be any reasons, but the fact remains that when we accept, and the second most important thing is without judgment, without judgment. So we say, okay, you're entitled to not feel as I am entitled to feel. You see? Because they could turn around and say, how dare you have these feelings for me? I didn't ask you to have these feelings for me. Or they could say, well, I've changed my mind, so you know, that's how it is. And so when you come into acceptance, you say, God, I thank you for these feelings. I would have loved to have them returned, but since they are not returned, I will accept. And because of this acceptance, I will release my desire of wanting it to be in a certain way. But I will say thank you that I was able to feel these things, because the feelings of love make us want to be better people. We want to diet. We want to look beautiful for that person. We do things that in normal life we would just be too lazy to do. And actually it helps us, gives us a glowing spark. So why would we sacrifice that? We don't. We accept that. And then once we release that in acceptance, that is the most amazing thing. You see? That is when we are releasing our desires, and yet we are able to love in return. Primarily love our own feelings of love, and not necessarily an idea of what we want it to be. As humans, we have that quality, don't we? Where we project into the future something that is, we think, going to be better than what it is now. Even though the reality of it is, I am living in this moment my best soul presence, because I am an eternal being. You are an eternal being. And when we realize that we are living in the moment of this soul presence, and we accept that, then that too becomes a powerful aphrodisiac in our lives. The one thing we must try to avoid doing is the judgment part. Whether we judge ourselves and say, hey, you know, I was not worth it. They didn't love me or feel for me because I didn't have this, this, and this, or I wasn't attractive. No, I don't think that is the reason at all. It could be that they were already involved with someone else, or they just, in this lifetime, they didn't have those feelings. And it can happen. Absolutely. You could have a person who is connected to what I call the soul group, your soul group, These are souls that travel with you through this life because they are at a certain vibration, and that vibration connects you all together. It's like the group of classical music. During that era, have a certain vibration. If you take classical music and try to mix it up with current rock, you would definitely see a distinct difference. The vibrations are different. In the same way, the spirit or the soul has a vibration. And so we have the spiritual family that walks with us and vibrates with us. And so this person could very well be, and most of the time is, a part of your soul group. You don't meet everybody in a lifetime that is connected to your soul group. You may meet them, you may not. But you know when you meet them because they create in you something different, something that you go and think about, that you find them very interesting. And sometimes you can even fall in love with them. And that is what happens. We fall in love sometimes, and it is the most powerful, most wonderful thing. And we must all embrace that. Keep your heart free for your love, so that you can embrace the love that is truly meant to be for you. And if for some reason that love has changed or walked away, there is always another love. But as long as you're feeling pain and regret and anger towards yourself or that other person, as I said, I spoke about judging yourself, but you could also judge the other and say, oh, he's psychically messing with me, he's being mean to me. And these thoughts, some of it may be true, they may be draining you, but most of the time when somebody is not in love with us, they don't really think about us that often, even though we like to think that they do, because we want to be important. And it's important to us because they are important to us. We too want to be important to them. So that's another story for another day, how to cleanse them of our energy and cleanse us of their energy so that we can release and be free. But that we would have to talk another day and look at it in a more detailed way. And so today I leave you with these thoughts that we discussed today. The power of love is amazing. We should all embrace it, no matter how old or how young, because each stage of love teaches us something new. In order to love, we must release our attachments, our disappointments. And in order to do so, how do we do that? It is by accepting what it is at face value. Call it what it is. And give thanks, like Christ said, in all circumstances. Stop judging. Don't say that you're a bad person or they're a bad person. Set yourself free from judgment. When you do, you grow. Because you then allow the higher spirit to come into your presence. When we judge, it's like closing a door. It stops the energy from going out or coming in. It says, this is what it is, and it cannot change. This is who they are or who we are, and it cannot change. But when we say, that wasn't too fun, but it's okay, I accept it, then it is better. All kind forms of thought teach us to be better people. Help us in this path which we call life. And to me, what awareness has been is a simple understanding. And I seek that understanding every day so that I may share that with you. If you have questions about your life, I would be happy to look at them for you. I channel in my spirit guide, and my goal in this lifetime is helping those to develop within and without their own personal self and understand the dynamics that are around them. I would appreciate it if you came to me with an open heart and mind, ready to listen and to learn as I learn while I share with you. And so I hope this video today will give you some food of thought. Interpret it in your way. Think about it in your way. To love unconditionally, be not judgmental, to be happy that you have feelings of deep desire, because that shows you that you are indeed a wonderful, spiritual, everlasting being. And know that God's love and His mighty presence is always with you. And you have the power of tuning into that as long as you are released and as long as you are in peace. So create that peace for you. Only you can do that. I wish you a wonderful day. May you have all the power of love today and always. Namaste.